Hello students, this is Palak Trivedi and welcome back in the lecture of Standard 10 and English Grammar. The subject is, as we have discussed about the punctuation marks, we have started this topic. In the last session, we have discussed about near about 12 to 13 overall view we have got. In that we have decided to learn near about 12 to 13 punctuation marks which are in our syllabus. Now in last session we have completed one punctuation mark, that was full stop. In that session we have seen about the usage of full stop and the examples of that too. Now we are having the second punctuation mark, that is comma. So let's go for the comma. First of all, we'll see the definition, or we can say the usage of comma. The comma is used to mark a slight break between different parts of a sentence. In full stop, we have seen that if we want to put a full stop, we must complete the whole sentence, whole sense of a sentence or a statement. Now here, in one sentence only, whenever we want to give a slight pause, at that time we have to use comma. It is not so that this is only the one usage of the same. We are having near about 6 usage or examples for the same. Here I have written only 2. We will see the next of this also. In that first it is given, whenever we want to make a pause, a slight pause, we are using comma. The first usage of it, that in list of nouns, verbs, adjective, phrases, etc., we are using comma. So a very simple, right, these all the things, this all the usage we are using in a routine life, in day-to-day life, but we are not that much aware, we are not that much conscious that here we have used comma, there we have used full stop, here we have used inverted comma, right. These all the punctuation marks we are using in a day-to-day life. Now we only have to do one thing, we have to be conscious regarding these punctuation marks, right. So let's be aware of the same thing. First, in the list, whenever our mother, our father is going in the market, and at that time we are speaking some sentences that, Mama, please bring bread, buttermilk for me. So have you observed that where I have taken a slight pause? Yes, in the list, right. Please bring for me a bread, buttermilk. So you can see at each of a word that milk, buttermilk, bread and butter. So in that I have taken a slight pause. So that is the use of a comma's first point, that whenever we are having the list of nouns, verbs, adjectives or phrases, in between of them we have to put comma. Here I have given example of the same for you. My breakfast is bread, tea and butter. So here I have given the list of a noun. If we are having a list of adjective, so for an example, if I want to elaborate or if I want to speak about a cat, right. So if I want to give adjectives to the cat, I can say that a cat is black, beautiful, thin. So that are a list of adjectives, and in between of those adjectives I have to put what? I have to put comma, right. Now let's go for the second usage of the same. In direct speech we are using comma. Now direct and indirect speech, I think near about since 3 to 4 years we are just learning this topic in grammar. So I know that you all are very familiar with this direct speech and indirect speech. Now here you have to bifurcate this. This in direct speech, here I have given space, not in indirect speech. This is direct speech. And we know the formation, how we are writing sentences of direct speech. She said to me, I care for you. So here you have seen, here we have put comma. This is very easy for us, because since 3 to 4 years we are having this direct and indirect speech. and we are converting sentences from direct speech to indirect speech, right? So, first use in the list of particular nouns, verbs, adjective and phrases. Second usage is indirect speech. She said to me. Now here we have to take a slight pause. Why? Because whatever this sentence is there, I care for you. These are a spoken words, right? That's why we have kept in inverted comma. Now why we are keeping this inverted comma, why it is double inverted comma, that we will see in the punctuation mark whenever we will have of a quotation mark, right? So there we are just putting some pause, but here let's come and focus on comma. Then here now I can see the two different kind of a phrases, right? This is the different, this is the different. Why? Because this is a spoken words of speaker, exact words of a speaker. So here I have to take a slight pause. So let's remember the comma is used to mark a slight break, right, in between different parts of sentences. So here we can say that these are two parts and I want to make a slight pause. That's why I have used here comma. Now let's go for the usage of 3, 4, 5 and 6. Now let's continue with the usage of comma. The first two we have completed. Now let's go with the third one. To separate clauses, we are using comma. Third use is there, to separate clauses. Now in near about 7 or 8 or 9 standard we have learned about clauses. We were having a topic, phrases and clauses. In clauses we are having many kind of, like generally we are having two kinds of, main clause and subsidiary clause. Now whenever we want to separate two clause, in between of that we have to put comma. So here I know what I want and what they want. So here sentence is one, but we can find that is a two clause. Now whenever we want to divide two clauses in one sentence, at that time we are using comma. See, I have used here. So third usage of comma is whenever we want to separate a clause or clauses in sentence, at that time we are using comma. Now here you will have a questions like that, ma'am, we are having two types of sentences, kinds of sentences. Now in 10th standard you have to learn that complex sentences and compound sentences. So in these kind of sentences you will have more than 2 to 3 clauses. Sometimes we are just reading in a book or in a literature or in a novel or drama or plays of a famous writers. So we will find that there is almost 3 to 4 clauses. After that we are finding full stop, and then too that all the clauses are having meaning, it's on. So at that time we can say that the writer has used comma, right? They have separated clauses with comma, and after at end of whole sentence they have put full stop. So here the third usage is there, to separate clauses. Now let's go for the use number 4. To mark off certain part of a sentence, Mary, my wife, is an artist. Generally these kind of a sentences we are using in our day-to-day life. Whenever we want to mark off a particular sentence, a particular person or particular thing, at that time we are using comma. If I want to say that Rahul, my brother, is a good man. So what I have specified, Rahul is a name, right? I have given information, extra information. I have marked off certain part, that is my brother, right? So it means that whenever in a sentence we want to mark off particular like thing, here it is my wife. In example what orally I have given, that is in the my brother is a good man. So if I will speak only the sentence, Mary is an artist, so that sentence is also correct, right? No one can give it wrong. But make sure that here I am giving extra information. I am marking something, alright? So Mary, who is Mary? I am telling that my wife, right, is an artist. So whenever I want to mark off certain part of a sentence, At that time we are using comma. The second example what I have given orally, Rahul, my brother, is a good man. So if I speak that Rahul is a good man, the sentence is correct, right? But we have to think it that if I want to give some elaboration, if I want to give some extra information, at that time we must say that we have to mark off certain parts in a sentence. That particular information is coming in between two commas. Here you can see that Mary, after that I have put comma here. After that my wife, my information completed? Yes. Then again I have to put comma. That is and is an artist, right? So here the fourth usage is here that in a sentence, whenever we want to mark off a particular part, especially in adding of information, at that time we are using comma. So I hope that this usage is very clear to you. Now let's move to the usage number 5. How many of you are knowing about question tags, or we are using tag questions? Yes, I know the answer. Almost of you are knowing about tag questions, or we are using question tags. Now a few information regarding question tag is that we know the rule, we have to recall the rules about question tag, that if the sentence is positive, question tag is always negative, and if the sentence is negative, question tag always coming positive. Now let's use comma in question tag. So this is information I have given so that we can have a correct sentence of question tags. A simple sentence I have taken so you can understand it very easily. She is coming here. Now whenever I was just explaining this sentence, one question is coming to my mind that many of students are making mistakes at one place, and that place is here. Instead of comma they are using full stop there. So that's why this rule, it means this usage number 5 is very important for us in examination. As again let me remind you that punctuation marks we are having of a 2 marks. You will have 4 punctuation marks question, and in board examination we are having 2 marks of that. In that they will ask such a thing only, right? They can give paragraph from text part, they can take paragraph from out of the text part also, but we have to prepare ourselves, right, for both of the paragraph, whether it is from the text or outside. To introduce question tag, so again let's come to the point. She is coming here. So here again and again I am telling you, be careful, very careful. Here we don't have to put full stop. What will come? Here will come comma, right? And as earlier I have told you the rules of question tag, then you can say she is coming here. The sentence is positive. So question tag will be negative. So you can see here in question tag we have to use to be's form. Is a positive, so we have added not, is not. I have used contraction, so isn't, right? Again contraction, is not, isn't is a contraction, was not, wasn't is a contraction form. She is coming here, so isn't she. Now let me tell you some extra information of this also. So the same information we can revise at the same time. So here I have used pronoun she. For an example, if I have used here a noun, proper noun. For an example, see, if I have written here Megha. Megha is the name of a girl. So sentence is going to remain the same. Megha is coming here. So isn't Megha? Shall we use that? Isn't Megha? No. Whatever the proper noun has been given in the sentence, we don't have to carry forward the same name in question tag. As we have to recall the rule that whatever the proper nouns are there, we have to take a pronoun according to that. If here it is a girl's name, we will be using pronoun she. If it is a boy's name, according to that, we have to use pronoun he. So again, let's clarifying that here it has been given pronoun only, so we have taken as it is. But for an example, if any girl's name or boy's name or any proper noun has been given to you, so in question tag, in accordance of a noun, we have to put pronoun, right? So she is coming here or Megha is coming here, isn't she? So again, where to use comma? Here to use comma. Getting it? So very important, don't get any kind of a confusion whenever sentence ends here. Before tag questions, we have to put comma. I hope that this is very clear to you. Now the last usage of comma we are going to have, and that is number 6, to introduce a participle phrase. An example is, walking down the road I saw a baby crying. Now introduce a participle phrase. Now again we have to recall the chapter phrases and clauses. In that we have learned so many kinds of phrases also. So here whenever we want to introduce a participle phrase, right, you can see that both the phrases are having equal importance. Walking down the road I saw a baby crying. If I want to reword the same, right, if this phrase I will take in the beginning part, this I will take in the second part. So I saw a baby crying while walking down the road. So at that time I have to use conjunction, right, whenever I am taking this principal clause, right, in which I have used this sentence. So I saw a baby crying. If this phrase is coming at a second part, then we have to use comma, right. So walking down the road I saw a baby crying, right. We know that present participles we are having, they are very confusing for us whenever we are using continuous tense and present participles. Why? Because in both the kinds the verb is having its ing form, right. So walking down the road, so it is not showing continuous tense. Why? Because walking is present participle. Getting it? So we don't have to get ourselves confused that walking down the street I saw a baby crying. It means that to introduce a participle phrase we are using comma. So students, these were the uses of comma. Again let's revise in a quick way that comma is used to mark a slight break in between the parts of sentences. I hope that comma is very clear to you. Now we'll go for the next point of punctuation marks. In punctuation mark we have seen full stop and then comma, and now let's go to the third punctuation mark, and that is semicolon. In full stop we have seen it is having a complete pause, complete stop. In comma we have seen it is having a slight pause. It is also similar to that but not as the same. Let's see. Semicolon, the definition is given here. The semicolon is used to mark a break that is stronger than comma but not as final as full stop. So this is similar to that but not same as previous both of them. So semicolon, here I have given a symbol. This routinely we are able to read, able to observe in literature of English. Semicolon, now again we have to recall both the things, comma and full stop. Whenever we are having a complete sentence with a complete sense, at that time we are putting full stop. So semicolon is not that much final as full stop, right, and it is taking break in a sentence. Whenever we are speaking, if we are just taking a slight break in a comma, so more than comma's break we have to take a pause. But how much we are taking a pause in full stop? We are not supposed to take that much pause in a semicolon. So in between of full stop and comma, what will come? Semicolon. So we have to take a more than slight pause. It means stronger than comma's pause and not that much as final as full stop, right? So we'll see the usage of semicolon today. The first usage is to separate the closely related independent clauses. Now you will say that, ma'am, in the punctuation mark, I think everywhere the phrases, clauses, these topics are coming. So definitely if any kind of a doubt is there in our mind regarding phrases or clauses, we have to clear that first, right? This is very important for us, that if we will be not knowing the meaning of a phrases, the meaning of clauses, the kinds of phrases and kind of clauses, then this may be you will have differentiation or difficulties in that. So just now I am giving you explanation, what is clause, what is phrase, right? Have to use punctuation marks in between of those. But then too, if a single query is there regarding clauses and phrases, you have to sort it out first that. So here to separate a closely related independent clause. Now in clause we are having two kinds of. One is independent clause and second is dependent clause. Now let's have a look of both of the clause. For an example, if this is independent clause. Now independency means, if I will say that I am independent person, it means for any kind of other requirement I don't need any single person's help. That is called independent person, that is called independency. Now if I say that I am dependent, right, the circumstances can be of any other topic also, that I am dependent for money, right, I have to take money from my father, then I have to purchase few things, right, I can dependent on my mother if I want to take a food. At that time I can say that I am dependent on others. Now the meaning of these both things I think you have got clearly, independent and dependent. Now in clause, one clause can be dependent or independent, right, because they don't have to take money, they don't have to take any kind of food from any mother or father. But here we have to take the consideration of subject, object and verb. It means that when we can say that it is a complete sentence, if it is having subject, if it is having verb, if it is having object, it means subject and predicate with a complete sense. That is called a sentence, right? Independent clause can be a sentence, right, because it is having all subject, verb and object. Now dependent clause, it means that dependent, they have to depend for complete meaning to the other sentence, to the other clause, because that particular phrase or clause is not having its own meaning, right? For their own meaning they have to depend on other clause. Here we are talking about the independent clause. To separate the closely related independent clauses, now here we have to only consider the independent clauses. The railway lines runs through a beautiful wooded valley. Here you can see I have kept here semicolon. The river follows it. Getting it? Let's go through it again, because I am thinking that you are somewhat confused in the sentence. The railway line runs through a beautiful wooded valley. Here I have given a pause, but that pause is not that much short as a comma, right? It is stronger than comma, but not as final as full stop. This is first independent clause. Now this is second independent clause. Now the river follows it. Now it means what? It means railway lines, right? It means railway lines because we are talking about the railway lines. The railway lines runs through a beautiful wooded valley. Here I want to add information regarding subject. That's why I am just using semicolon here, right? After that I am putting a second independent clause that the river follows it. So again let's recall the same to separate the closely related independent clause. These both the clause are independent clause, but they are related to that, right? I don't want to write it again that the river follows the railway line, right? Because we know the usage of pronoun are used, right, to avoid the repetition of nouns. So here once already we have used subject, noun, proper noun, so we don't have to use it again. So the railway lines runs through a beautiful wooded valley. After that we have to put pause, not full stop, right? Here the sentence is not getting completed. I want to add something in that. That's why I have kept here semicolon, right? Now let's go for the second usage of semicolon, and that second usage is to organize an exceptional descriptive list. Let's have example so you will get better clarification of the same. We invited the following members. Now here you can see that ma'am this is colon. Don't worry, the colon is coming in the next topic and we will see the details of colon in next session. We invited the following members. Now the name of members we have given. Here I have kept Coma, see. So again we have to recall this session only, because in this session only we had the usage of Coma. In that we have said to mark off a particular part of a sentence. We have to recall the example, Mary, my wife, is an artist, right? So we have added some information of that particular person. Here also I am adding some information regarding a person. That's why I am using Coma, right? So Ron Forbes, Coma, because I want to add details. Professor of English. Now this is the information of only one person. The sentence is not getting completed, but I don't want a less pause like Coma. So I will use semicolon. True? So we invited the following members. Now the list of members has been given. So we have to recall the Coma's usage, that whenever we are having the list of a noun, verbs, adjectives, at that time we have to use Coma. So here we have used Coma, but as well as we have to recall the same thing to mark off a particular parts of a sentence. So Ron Forbes, Professor of English. Now this introduction of one person has been completed, but sentence has not been completed. Now the second, David Mack, elaboration is there, information regarding David is there. David Mack, Professor of Physics. Again I have to use semicolon. Why? Because the sentence is not getting completed, but the information, it means I have the exceptional descriptive list, right? So whenever we are having any kind of these descriptive list, at that time we have to use semicolon, right? And last we are having the Jenny Carthy, Professor of History. Here I can say my sentence is completed, so we have put here full stop, right? So let's revise this point again. You will feel that this example is so long, but in the usage only we have been given the exceptional descriptive list. So obviously this descriptive list is going to be very much lengthy. right? So in this example we can say we have used 3 punctuation marks: colon, comma and semicolon, right? So in this example we have used nav, comma and semicolon already we have seen. Now regarding the colon, in details in a depth we will see whenever we will have in next session the topic colon. Now I hope that you have understood both the usage of semicolon. Let's revise in a quick way. The semicolon is used to mark off a break that is stronger than comma but not as final as full stop. So again I am telling that if we want to give stronger pause than comma, then semicolon, our sentence is not completed, still we want to add, but we want pause like full stop, not same as full stop. So at that time we have to use semicolon. Independent clauses, we have to do semicolons in that whenever closely related independent clauses are there and we want to join it. And secondly, we have seen that in an exceptional descriptive list, it means that person, then descriptive, then again the list of person with their information is there. So if we want to divide a particular, we are using semicolon. So I hope that you have cleared till time all 3 punctuation mark, that is full stop, comma and semicolon. Now as you know that we are having a long list of punctuation marks, so that we'll see in the next session. Next session is going to be very interesting as the same what we had just now. We'll see you in the next session with the new punctuation marks for you. Thank you.